They said the girl child does not deserve a pen, only a broom. But what happens when the very child they rejected rises to become the light of the whole family? This is not just a story, it is a cry, a warning, and a lesson for every home that still despises the education of the girl child. Welcome to African Tales by Ijele. Please like, share, and subscribe. In a quiet African village, the sound of the cockcrow opened each day. Amara, a bright little girl of 9, rushed to sweep the compound while her brother Chukwu tied his school bag. Papa's voice rang out, deep and final. The boy will go to school. The girl will stay at home. A woman's place is the kitchen. I will never waste my money training a female child. Mama's eyes watered as she tied her wrapper. She saw the hunger for knowledge in her daughter's eyes, but her voice was weak before her husband. Amara watched her brother leave for school. She whispered in her heart, "One day, I will also wear a uniform. One day, I will also hold a book." Amara followed her mother to the market, but her eyes always searched for written words, on posters, on old newspapers, even on the back of used cartons. One afternoon, she stood by the school fence, listening to the teacher from outside. Her face shone with wonder as she repeated every word silently. The headmistress noticed her. "Child, do you want to learn?" "Yes, Ma. More than anything." But when Papa found a borrowed exercise book under Amara's mat, his rage shook the walls. "Amara! Do you want to disgrace me? No more books in this house." He tore the paper to pieces. Amara cried into the night, but deep inside her heart, the fire only grew stronger. One day, visitors from the city arrived. They came with news. An organization was offering scholarships for girls in the village. The headmistress called Amara secretly. "Come and write the test. I know you can do it." Amara trembled. If Papa found out, he would beat her. But if she refused, she would lose her only chance. With courage burning in her small chest, she entered the classroom. Her hands shook as she held the pencil. But as the questions came, every word she had stolen from books, every lesson she had listened to from the school window, came alive. That day, Amara wrote her future with tears, courage, and hope. 2 weeks later, the whole village gathered at the school hall. The scholarship results were out. Parents came with their children, everyone eager to hear the names. The headmistress cleared her throat and read, "The best result goes to Amara, daughter of Chief Obi." The crowd gasped. Women clapped. Children shouted her name. But Chief Obi's face turned dark like a storm. He stood up and barked, "Stop this nonsense! I never allowed my daughter to write any exam. Tear that paper, and never call her name again." The hall fell silent. Amara's heart sank. Her victory had turned into shame before everyone. At home, Papa's anger grew hotter. He pounded the wooden table with his fists. "Grace! Did you know about this? How dare you betray me? Amara will never step into a classroom again. Over my dead body." Mama knelt down, crying, "Obi, she is your daughter. Please let her future shine. Don't kill her dream." But Papa turned to Amara and shouted, "From today, you will sell in the market. No more books, no more school. If I ever see you near that school again, you will regret being born." Amara's small shoulders shook as she cried into her mother's chest. But deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, "Don't give up. Your light will still shine." The next morning, Uncle Ifani, Papa's younger brother, came visiting. He had heard what happened. He called Amara aside and smiled kindly. "My child, I was once like you. They told me I could not dream. But I fought for myself. Listen, never stop learning." From his bag, he pulled out a small notebook and a pen. "Take these. Even if they stop you from going to school, no one can stop you from learning. Hide them well." Amara held the book like treasure. For the first time since her father's anger, she smiled. That night, while everyone slept, she lit a candle stub and wrote her first sentence. "One day, I will be great." Her journey had only just begun. Papa became more watchful after Uncle Ifani's visit. Every evening, he checked Amara's hands to see if she had touched a book. He even questioned the neighbors. One night, while pretending to sleep, Papa caught a faint light flickering from Amara's corner. He stormed in, shouting, "Aha! So you still disobey me? You think you are wiser than your father? From today, no more candle, no more paper, no more pen in this house." He smashed the small notebook Uncle Ifani gave her and scattered the pieces into the fire. Amara's heart broke. But Mama, who was standing behind him, quickly grabbed a tiny scrap of the burnt paper and hid it inside her wrapper. She whispered to Amara later, "My daughter, don't cry. As long as I live, I will keep a light for you." From that day, Mama became Amara's secret teacher. She would return from the market with old newspapers wrapped around tomatoes or dried fish. She gave them to Amara at night. Together, in whispers, they traced the words by lantern light. Mama would say, "Sound this out. Amara." And Amara would laugh softly. "That is my name." The more Papa tried to cage her, the more knowledge slipped through the cracks. By the time Amara turned 13, she could read and write better than many children already in school. But danger was still near, because Papa's eyes were everywhere. One hot afternoon, a black jeep drove into the village square. Inside were 2 men and 1 woman, dressed in neat clothes. They were from a foundation in the city, searching for bright village children to sponsor. The headmistress rushed to meet them. Without thinking twice, she said, "There is one girl you must see. Her name is Amara. She has no chance to go to school, but her gift is beyond measure." That evening, the officials came to Chief Obi's compound. Papa frowned, arms folded, as they spoke. "Sir, we have heard of your daughter. We want to take her to the city. Her scholarship will be free. She will make you proud." But Papa's reply was cold as stone. "Take my son if you like, but not my daughter. The female child is a waste." Amara stood behind the door, her heart pounding. The door to her future was about to be shut again. After the city visitors left, Papa boasted in the compound, "No man will tell me how to run my house. My word is final." But when night fell, Mama sat in the corner with Amara. Her voice trembled, but her eyes were firm. "My daughter, I cannot let your dream die here. Tomorrow, we will go to the headmistress. She will help us." At dawn, Mama pretended to take Amara to the stream. Instead, they went to the school. There, the headmistress handed Mama a form. "She can still join the scholarship list if you sign here. But you must keep it safe from your husband." Mama pressed her thumb on the paper. Her heart beat fast, but she whispered to Amara, "Your life is bigger than this compound. I will fight for you in secret." 2 weeks later, the city officials returned with papers for Amara's scholarship. They came with a car ready to take her. Papa's voice thundered, "Leave my compound now! This girl is not going anywhere. She will stay here until a man pays her bride price." The officials tried to reason with him. "Sir, this scholarship costs you nothing. One day, she will bring honor to your name." But Papa stamped his staff on the ground. "My decision is final." The whole village watched in silence. Some elders shook their heads, others whispered, "This man's pride will destroy him." Amara's tears fell quietly, but Mama's hands squeezed hers. That night was the longest of Amara's life. She sat awake, staring at the stars. She whispered, "God, if you gave me this gift, why did you also give me a father who hates it?" Mama came to sit beside her, holding the small scrap of burnt paper she had hidden before. On it were faint words. "One day, I will be great." "My daughter," Mama said softly, "your father's anger is not the end of your story. Sometimes, the seed grows in darkness before it sees the sun." Amara laid her head on her mother's lap. She felt new strength rise inside her chest. Even if her father refused her, she promised herself, "I will not stop. One day, they will see me, and they will remember these nights." Papa sat with 2 elders in the compound one evening. His face was proud, his chest wide. "My daughter is ripe," he declared. "Instead of wasting time talking about school, I will give her hand in marriage. At least the dowry will bring respect to my house." Mama's heart nearly stopped. She dropped the basket she was holding. "Obi, she is only 14. Please don't throw her away like this." But Papa silenced her with a glare. Amara overheard everything. That night, she wept bitterly, clutching the burnt paper scrap with the words, "One day, I will be great." How could greatness come if she was locked in marriage so early? The next morning, Mama fell on her knees before Papa. "Obi, if you love me at all, don't do this to our daughter. She has a gift. Let her shine." But Papa pushed her away. "A woman's gift is her husband's pride. That is all." That night, Mama lay awake, staring at the roof. Silent tears rolled down her cheeks. She prayed softly, "God, if this child's future is in your hands, do not allow man to bury it." Amara, hearing her mother's prayer, held her hand tightly. For the first time, she felt she was not alone in the fight. The marriage plans moved fast. Goats were tied, drinks were bought, and the village whispered about Amara's wedding. But on the very night before the introduction, Uncle Ifani came quietly to the house. He called Amara aside. "My child, if you stay here, your dream will die. Come with me. Tomorrow, I will take you to the city. The foundation people are still waiting. You have one chance." Amara trembled. To leave would mean disobeying her father forever. To stay would mean losing her future. That night, with only her mother's blessing and tears, Amara tied a small cloth of belongings. As the moon shone over the compound, she whispered to herself, "Papa may refuse to train the female child, but destiny itself will train me." She stepped into the dark road with Uncle Ifani, her heart pounding, her future waiting. Amara's first sight of the city was overwhelming. Tall buildings touched the clouds, cars honked loudly, and people rushed as if time was chasing them. Uncle Ifani led her to a small one-room apartment. "This is where you will stay for now. Life here is not easy, but you must endure." The foundation placed her in a government school. But Amara faced shame from other children who mocked her village accent and poor clothes. She walked home with torn slippers, her heart heavy. At night, she whispered to herself, "I left home for this. No. I will not give up. I will fight." The city was full of trials. Amara sometimes studied with an empty stomach. She sold sachet water after classes to buy books. Her hands grew blistered, but her mind grew sharper. One day in school, the teacher asked a difficult question. The class fell silent. Amara stood up slowly and gave the correct answer. The teacher clapped his hands. "Brilliant! This girl will go far." For the first time, her classmates looked at her with respect. But when she got home, her small bed was soaked with tears. She missed Mama. She missed her village. Yet she held on to her dream tightly. Years passed. Amara's hard work bore fruit. She became the best student in her school. Newspapers wrote about her. Scholarships carried her from secondary school to the university. One evening, as she stood on stage receiving a national award, cameras flashing, she remembered the words her father once shouted. "The female child is a waste." She looked at the audience and spoke with tears in her eyes. "I was once told I could never rise because I was a girl. But today, I rise for every girl whose voice has been silenced. I rise for my mother, who believed in me when no one else did. And I rise for a future where no father will refuse to train the female child." The hall stood up in thunderous applause. After many years, Amara returned to her village. This time, not as a little girl with tears in her eyes, but as a grown woman dressed with dignity. Her car stopped at the square, and children ran to see her. The same school she once peeped into now carried a signboard. "Amara Foundation for Girls' Education." The villagers whispered, "Is this not Chief Obi's daughter? The one he refused to train? Look at her now." Mama came out of the compound, her wrapper tied simply. Her eyes filled with tears of joy. Mother and daughter embraced, weeping and laughing at the same time. Papa was older now, his hair gray, his back bent. He sat quietly as Amara entered the compound. For a long moment, he could not look her in the eye. At last, his voice cracked. "They said you built schools, that you are helping many girls. Amara, is it true?" She nodded, her eyes wet. Papa's voice trembled. "I thought training a female child was useless. But today, I see that I was blind. I see that I was wrong." Tears rolled down his cheeks, but he did not say the word sorry. Yet Amara's heart understood. It was the closest thing to an apology he could give. The next day, Amara stood before the villagers. The elders, women, and children gathered in the square. She spoke with a firm but gentle voice. "When you train a boy, you train one child. But when you train a girl, you train a whole nation. Do not bury your daughters' dreams. Do not silence their voices. Give them a pen, and they will write a brighter future for us all." The crowd clapped, and many fathers lowered their heads in shame. From that day, the village began to send their daughters to school. The chain of ignorance was broken. Amara's story became a light, and her name became a song on every tongue. Amara used her voice, her wealth, and her wisdom to build schools across villages. Each time a girl wore a uniform and held a book, she remembered her own pain as a child and smiled through tears. Mama lived to see it all. Her eyes glowed with pride each time she visited the schools her daughter built. She would often say, "If I had listened to fear, this light would have died. Thank God I believed." Papa grew weaker with age. His strength was gone, but his regret remained. One evening, as he sat under the old mango tree, he called Amara. His voice was low and broken. "Daughter, I was wrong. You are not a waste. You are the greatest blessing of my life." For the first time, tears rolled freely down Amara's cheeks. She knelt before him and whispered, "Papa, I forgive you." It was the healing the family had waited for all their lives. Years later, Amara's name was known far beyond her village. She became a symbol of hope, a voice for the voiceless. Children sang songs about her, mothers prayed blessings over her, and fathers pointed at her schools saying, "This is what happens when you train the female child." Amara stood on the same soil where she once wept as a child and declared, "My story is proof. When you deny a girl education, you bury a future. But when you lift her, you lift generations." The crowd roared, and the land was forever changed. When you educate a girl, you educate a nation. Pride can destroy a future, but humility and courage can rebuild it. The female child is not a burden, she is a bridge to greatness. A mother's faith can be the shield that keeps a child's destiny alive. Thank you for watching African Tales by Ijele. Like it, share it, and subscribe for more. Also, remember, the rejection of a girl child is the rejection of tomorrow's light. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every tale we tell is a lesson that can save a generation.